Thank you so much for joining us today. We are working on my favorite meditation. I do this in grocery store lines while you're waiting in a waiting room, or you have something with your kids, you're just waiting to pick them up. There's just so many times where you're waiting, and we find that we fill our free space by hopping on social media for that little dopamine hit. And it doesn't really work forever. You might get an instant jolt of like happiness, or maybe the opposite's true and you get sucked into some drama. So I love to practice these body scanning meditations, and I try really hard to do these in place of jumping on my phone when I have some spare time. It's also really cool to look around while you're doing these meditations. You're focusing on yourself, you're breathing, but if you look around, you're like, oh my gosh, I am the only person that's not on my cell phone. So it just makes you feel like extra good that you're working on yourself. Congratulations on getting to your practice today. I'm going to head on back to my spot. You're welcome to stay in your desk. I have to use my phone because I don't have a clock in here. So this is my clock for today. Just bear with that. And I encourage you to step away if you can, because it's so nice to not have your screen flashing or your phone dinging or beeping, whatever kind of notifications you receive. So nice to step away and just let those be. Our goal as we practice today is to release everything that brought us up into this moment together. So we're going to take a very big breath in and stretch our arms to the sky. Just do a little bit of stretching so we don't feel antsy as we try to sit. Reaching our hands behind us. If you have a chair there, just grab a hold of your chair. Or if there's space, you'll clasp your hands behind your low back. And however you're sitting, yogis, is great. Let's try to open up our chests. So if you have to stay in your desk chair and you can't physically ground into the earth, maybe just consider taking off your socks and shoes and pressing your feet down into the earth for a sense of grounding. You could sit like me. We call this a little pigeon pose, a double pigeon pose. Or you can just crisscross your shins. You could bring the soles of your feet together. Let's reach forward now, another hand clasp, and whichever thumb usually goes on top there, switch it, and then all of the other fingers. So it feels a little new. Reach forward to me and tuck your chin to your chest. Take a big back body opening stretch. We're breathing, we're just settling in here. All right, so we let go of everything that brought us up to today. Keep stretching forward, rounding your back like an angry cat. And then for the practice itself, we won't have any particular goal in mind. Reach your arms to the sky, my friends. Clasp them behind your head, and one more time, push back, opening your chest. Widening your elbows, lifting up under your chin. So rather than having an end goal for any meditation we practice, let's just have moments to be with our bodies, to practice our presence. That's all we're here to do. Come within, check in, see how everything's feeling, breathe a whole bunch. One more press back with your skull. And then let your shoulders gently release, let your hands fall, possibly giving yourself a little rolling around of your shoulders, forwards and back if that's available to you. And when you feel pretty settled in your shoulders, let your hands fall somewhere that feels great. Setting ourselves up comfortably, long in our spine so we can help ourselves stay alert during our practice. Now, that being said, if you get uncomfortable during your practice, you make any changes that need to be made so you feel good again. Always reestablishing your long, beautiful spine. Slipping your eyes closed with me if that feels great. Just check in, see how it feels. And if it's a little unnerving, blink your eyes back open. Another way we can focus inwards is by taking our eye gaze down. So rather than closing our eyes, we'll look low at something that is unmoving. Soften the lids so they get really droopy over your eyes, and we look gently through our eyelashes, letting things become a little blurry and unfocused there. Releasing a bit of the outer world and coming into the most important space, our breath and our beautiful bodies. Let's take a huge inhale together through our noses Big audible sigh exhalation. 2 more like that. Big breath in. And when you're ready, open your mouth, make some noise. Love to get this from the depths of your core. 1 more like that. Big breath in. Let's gently seal our lips. And as we move through our practice today, we'll breathe in and out through our noses. So I wanted to share a little quote from you from one of my favorite books. It's actually called A Year of Living Your Yoga, but this is applicable to anything we do, not just our yoga practices, by Judith Hanson Lassiter. She says, every breath is an experiment. Even things that we take for granted are unique. When we practice today, let's stay present with each and every breath. Note how each one is different and how each one also has something to teach. Life is busy, my friends, so it's really easy to get swept away in our thoughts. And if that happens as we practice, know that you are human and that is very, very normal. So we'll treat our bodies and our minds today as we would someone who we love very much or a small child that we're guiding and teaching. And we'll just gently guide ourselves back to our physical bodies and our breaths. We'll try to use our breath in our practice today to stay present, tapping into this specific moment. This breath right here, right now, regardless of what's going on around you, or in your life, even outside your 4 walls, all the big things in the world that are currently happening. Let's meditate today, opening up our nervous system, and we'll allow our rest and digest, also known as our parasympathetic nervous system, to begin to take over just a bit. Release ourselves and renew with some really beautiful breaths. Now, if you start to get tired in your posture, feel free to scoot yourself up against a wall or the back of a chair, something that will support you in your intention to have this beautifully tall, long, energetic spine. And let's soften the space that's between our eyebrows. Sometimes it's hard to see that in our mind's eye, so you can physically touch it with your hands. Make sure you don't feel any of those wrinkles there. Just maybe push your eyebrows apart and let go. You can do the same around the corners of our eyes, kind of like you're putting on some eye cream. Maybe you're feeling up there. How soft can I become around the corners of my eyes? So my favorite place to release, the jaw. Let your bottom jaw drop heavily from the top. Parting your teeth. Feel your tongue get heavy. It's going to rest right on the back of your bottom teeth. And as you relax deeply into your face, remember that your practice is here to support you, to infinitely support you, however much you're looking to let go today, however much you bring to your practice. You might feel really heavy and weighty. You might feel sad. The holidays are coming. That can bring all kinds of emotions. So you're tuning in, your grounding in practice is always here for you. Come as you are. And then we'll relax any tensing in our backs and our hips. I like to give mine like a little wiggle. So I'll kind of shrug my shoulders and move through my shoulder blades and then wiggle down into the pelvic bowl. Helps you become more aware of your physical body. And we'll direct some really beautiful breaths to the back of our blades, our spine between our shoulder blades, and deep into your pelvic bowl. See that bowl as something that could hold so much breath. Fill it up. Saturate your bones, your muscles, your tissues with this really active breath. And as you exhale, notice a sense of softening or heaviness or deepening as those areas begin to release just a bit. Inhaling, feeling that we're creating space, potentially allowing some mental and physical tension to dissipate as we exhale. Remember, we don't have any goals or expectations. These are just things that may be happening as we practice. Literally feel yourself lifting and floating, and then come back to your body and mind and settle a little heavier into it. With each cycle of this beautiful breath, let us try to replace any challenging thoughts. Whether it's something about ourselves, our inner critic, or it's something we're dealing with, another human being, or something in our jobs. Let's try to replace some of those challenging thoughts with a deep sense of peace and calm. So we're not forcing or switching anything. I like to use the most easy visual I can think of. When I have these thoughts creep in as I'm practicing, I envision each thought in its own little cloud bubble, whether you have one or many at once. And then you use your breath like it's Mother Earth, and you're blowing like the wind softly, blowing these clouds of thoughts right back out of your awareness. They're gonna come in and they're gonna come back in again. And you take this big, gentle, beautiful breath and just clear that space, leaving it vast and infinitely thought-free. So when we feel that sense of broad openness in between our eyes and behind our eyebrows, we have this deep sense of peace and calm that comes through. Each inhalation bringing in new energy, creating some more space. Do you physically feel yourself becoming bigger? Each exhalation allowing you to release more deeply. And even if it didn't feel right at the beginning of your practice, to totally close your eyes. As you do become a little more chill, we feel that we're hanging looser. Might feel good now to just let your eyes droop closed while maintaining that sense of alert breathing. Being aware of where it's moving. Sense your breath. Can you feel your body moving into your clothing and then back away from it? I love to think of that static electricity feeling on your scalp. Did you ever used to do that as a kid? You'd like rub a balloon over your hair and then you get that charge. Your hair stands away. So I like to envision that. Envision a big hair standing moment as you inhale, but think of it as a sense of freedom and opening. And then just let all your hair settle so soft and gentle back down into your skull. Can you hear your breath moving? How far can you follow your breath? That's a fun game to play. It'll keep you with it. How far can it go? Can you stretch it down to the tips of each of your toenails? And if that's a really hard practice for us, that's okay. That's what we're here to do every day, practice. Attaching no judgment to anything that comes in, any thoughts, any troubles connecting with our breaths. Without strain or challenge, we might notice that we're beginning to deepen a little bit. Merely adding intention to deepen your breath. Inhaling with purpose. And exhaling this sense of letting go. Letting go of the stress that surrounds you. We have all this good stress too, exciting stress. Nonetheless, it is stress. Our rushing, our hurried nature, a little bit of stress there. So we're just going to let all that slip away for now. Remember that you, right here in this moment, you don't need to rush off. You're exactly where you need to be. Inhale a whole bunch of love for yourself. Exhale and let go. Inhale love for this present moment that we've been gifted. Let's celebrate life. Celebrate that we have this breath to attach to today. Exhale, letting just a little bit more go. Inhale, a sense of peaceful calm washing through you. Stay with your breath as long as you can. Listen to the sound it makes. Feel your body's movement and reaction. Exhale, letting go just a bit more deeply. If you lose track and get swept away by a thought or thoughts, it's okay. Gently come back to us, this moment, this beautiful life we've been blessed with. Feel the space around you. Sometimes you can feel almost an electric charge. You're starting to vibrate on a higher frequency by slowing down and checking in. Feeling a little supercharged energy buzzing around you. Observing our body and our mind's eye. Feel this life-giving breath. And this beautiful breath that sometimes we're not even aware of is a sign, the number one sign of our inherent worthiness. Do you ever have moments where you feel you need to be more or do more or get more or achieve more in order to be the best you? I'm here to remind you, I should say your breath is here to remind you that you are inherently worthy. There's nothing that you need to do, to be, to become, to have in order for your breath to support you. Isn't that amazing? And that's why it's so nice to learn how to connect with it, because it's always here with us to support us. We are worthy without even trying. Now, of course, you're worthy in so many ways and of so much in life, and you deserve so much. But on the most basic level, we are all worthy of this miracle that is our breath. Feel it expand into your chest and notice how every breath is a gift. One that requires no payment, the best kind of a gift. No return gift necessary because you are worthy. So moving into my favorite meditation, the body scan. You can do this in any position. Remember, this is not just for our formal practice here together. You can do it while you're driving, as long as you're safe. Don't get too chilled out while you're driving. You can do it while you're standing, while you're waiting, while you're having a tense moment in the middle of an argument. You can just stop, pause, breathe, and check in. Let's take a beautiful breath in. We'll float it through our left arm, all the way out to your fingers. So when I do this, I like to give a little extension, a little movement, a little openness, a little acknowledgement. So I'll actually send my left arm out really far from my body. And then let it drop down heavily again, releasing into your shoulder, your upper arm, your elbow, top and bottom of forearm, and all 5 fingers on your left hand. Same beautiful breath floating through your right arm, top to bottom, top and bottom of your palm, forearm, inner, outer elbow, and upper arm. Under and inside your shoulder socket and all over the top. See your right arm. Feel it, like to energize it a little bit, give it a big old stretch out, and then let it go. Drop down a bit more heavy. Now, before we continue body scanning, tuck your chin back just a little bit. Did you feel how your crown hopefully aligned more over your tailbone? You feel a little bit more spacious on the back of your neck, hopefully. We've tucked down just a little bit, maybe feeling like you could have a double chin here. This is a great exercise, this tucking of our chin, to counter the tech neck syndrome that we're dealing with these days. That jutting forward of our chin, our throat, and sometimes even our chest and collarbone area. We're pulling it all back into this beautiful spinal alignment. Let's take another big breath in, and this time as big as we can make it, because we're going to try to fill up our left legs. And you can just kind of see that energy if you're seated and cross-legged and you don't want to lift your leg out. You could just see it moving through your leg. Maybe you open your toes and you energize through that foot and ankle. If you're seated in a chair, you can stretch your left leg out, let it buzz with that newfound inhalation energy. And then just as quickly, let it go. Softening down through the left foot, all 5 toes, ankle, calf, shin, knee, thigh, and maybe around your hip and into your left glute. Let's try another really big breath in. You don't have to do it right now. If it takes some effort, take a second or two, find some beautiful calming breaths. And when you're ready for another really big one, send energy down to your right leg. Lots of energy through your toes, webbing wide. Maybe we moved a little bit through that leg. Really acknowledge the energy our breath has in it. Then settling down more deeply into the bottom and top of your foot, the little pads of your toes and the wrinkles underneath of them. Front and back of ankle, shin and calf, top and bottom of right knee, wrapping all around your femur bone and your thigh. Maybe even a little exhale energy out through your hip and your backside on the right. Let's breathe into our torso. So now we're really going to encompass our pelvic region. If you missed it on the leg breath, no worries, I've got you covered. Take a big, beautiful breath in to this compartment, this torso area. We're gonna fill it up, move wide in your ribs. Maybe you have a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart so you can feel your breath. Giving ourselves some feedback feels good, like, oh yeah, I am moving my breath. Good work, me, go me. And then as you exhale, settle more deeply into your tailbone, that bowl of your hips, your ribs soften down towards your hip bones a bit. Sternum and heart feel a little heavier. Now let's take a big breath into our skulls. And if it's hard for you to envision, you can always place hands. So you could place your hands right around your skull, maybe one on the top, one down low on the back. This sense of cradling, this sense of support and love. As we breathe in, maybe you feel the warmth or the coolness from your hands, really helping to nurture you with this beautiful breath. See everything in your skull. Let your hair fall a little heavier on the exhale. All those facial features we worked on earlier become a bit droopier. And settling back into our full body breathing. Noticing if there is a sense of deeper relaxation that you've created with your breath practice. Becoming in touch with your spirit, your inner guidance. And remember, we're always connected to this inner guidance, this breath. It's just difficult when we're going about our day to remember that it's there for us. So these practices, these long sits, working on our body and breath, help us become more attuned to how quickly pull it out, find it, and settle into the comfort of it. Breathe in and breathe out. Ask yourself a question, but promise that you won't force any answers to arise. Just see if something arrives. Who am I when I am at my very best? You might even just see a picture. You might actually feel something, a physical sensation as your answer. Who am I when I am at my very best? I love this question. We can say it out loud or we can say it mentally. And it starts this whole new fresh dialogue with the universe. We're putting that out there. Like, I want to experience the very best me. Who am I when I am in that space? Give yourself permission to step into this power, the power of new beginnings. Releasing any past definitions of ourself, whether they've been put upon us or we've self-created those. Let's completely step into this present moment right here and feel your impact, your inherent worthiness, this gift of breath we have. So we started this conversation with the universe. Who am I when I am at my very best? And this universal life force is bubbling up inside of you, flowing in and out of you. Your heart is filling, awakening to the now. There might be a sense of lightness. That's the sensation that I usually feel because I want my best me to be full of grace and softness and ease. So I envision, I feel the sense of lightness rippling through and just kind of vibrating out into the room, the space that I'm taking up around me. And this moment is a beautiful first step for you to awaken your best self. So my goal for all of us, a little homework, shall we say, is to try to reconnect one breath by one breath to this beautiful stillness that you've created within, to the silence that you can find when you come inside. And this will help us re-spark our intention of being the very best versions of ourselves. Together with this intention of mine in mind, let's take a big belly breath in. Let's lift our chin and our eyes skywards, feeling like the universe could kiss our heart and soul. We've opened ourselves up to these possibilities. Now we're just going to let our intention radiate out from within. Retucking our chins down towards our chests. No pressure for any perceived outcomes. Maybe we can take a breath before any interaction we have today, before we get in or out of our car, before we move to a new space in our homes. Feel open-minded and gentle in your heart. Celebrate your newfound alignment with the universal flow. And remember that every time you practice breath connection, it becomes a little easier to slip deeply in. I hope that you can carry a beautiful sense of inner peace with you today through the rest of your day. Give out that which you wish to receive. I hope that your love and acceptance of others is mirrored back to you in every single way. Hands meet at heart center, little bow towards your fingertips, a gesture of gratitude and acknowledgement of your hard work in your practice today. My light honors yours. Namaste, my friends, and take great care.